Purpose makes you unbreakable. You can take everything from a person: their money, their stability, their relationships, even their reputation. Far from the madding crowd takes all four away from the same man in the space of about 20 minutes of the screen time. His flock, his farm, his marriage proposal, his standing in the town he was about to build a life in. Gabriel Oak loses it all in one bad night and then spends the rest of the film not falling apart. Not because he doesn't feel it, we watch him feel it, but because whatever he's standing on doesn't live in the things that just got taken. So the question worth asking isn't, why does Oak survive this? It is, what is he standing on that Boldwood, Troy, and even Bathsheba are not? Part 1. The illusion of stability. At the start, Oak looks like the most secure person in the story. He has saved enough to rent land. He got a working farm, 200 sheep, and a young sheepdog he is training himself. He is confident enough to walk up to Bathsheba Everton, a woman with no money and no family, and propose marriage on the strength of what he is building. That's not desperate. That's a man reading his own future as settled. Then one night, his new, inexperienced dog, the one he hadn't finished training, herds the entire flock through a fence and off the edge of a chalk pit. 200 sheep dead in a single bush, uninsured. Everything is saved, gone before sunrise. The film doesn't play this as an unlucky accident that could have happened to anyone. It plays it as a demonstration. This is what happens to a life built entirely on things that can be undone in one night by a young dog that doesn't know any better. So the real question isn't, how does Oak recover? It is, what is left of a person once the thing they were counting on is gone? Part 2. Most people are built on surroundings. Look at how the other three central characters are introduced, and a pattern shows up first. Boldwood is a respected, wealthy farmer who has spent years as the most eligible bachelor in the district, right up until Bathsheba sends him a valentine as a joke. From that single moment on, his entire self-image reorganizes around her. He starts locking away dresses and jewelry for a wedding that was never agreed to. Troy is a surgeon who trades on charm and a flashing sword. Watch how much of his identity depends on being watched. The sword exercise scene in the hollow isn't really about swordmanship. It's a performance, and Troy visibly needs Bathsheba's eyes on him for it to mean anything. Bathsheba earlier on inherits a farm and immediately starts running it as a display of independence, riding out to market herself, refusing help, sending Boldwood that valentine as a way of proving she can't be bored into caring. Her pride isn't private. It needs an audience to confirm it. 3 different people, 3 different foundations. A woman's attention, an audience's gaze, a reputation for self-sufficiency. All 3 are borrowed from somewhere outside the person holding them. And borrowed things get returned Boldwood's fixation collapses into violence the moment Bathsheba is taken from him for good. Troy's charm evaporates the second there is no one left worth performing for. Bathsheba's independence nearly costs her the farm before she learns to actually ask for help. None of that is about failure. It's about where each of them chose to build. Part 3. Oak's difference. Watch what Oak does in the hours right after the sheep go over the edge. He doesn't go looking for someone to blame. Not the dog, not himself. He shoots the dog, but doesn't. And that's simply because a sheep-killing dog can't be kept. It's a simple fact. Then he starts walking. He sells what is left of his equipment to pay off his debt in full, and within days, he is at a hiring fair in Casterbridge, standing in line with laborers half his former standing, looking for work as a shepherd on someone else's farm. That's the whole reaction. No extended grieving scene, no bargaining, no monologue about what he has lost. Because the questions he is actually asking are smaller and more immediate. What needs doing today? Who is hiring? What's the next flock that needs tending? Those questions don't require him to know who he is anymore, only what he can still do. That's the film's real definition of purpose, and it's not abstract at all. It's a man walking to the next town to find sheep that need looking after, 12 hours after losing his own. Part 4. The sheep incident as a filter. By the time Oak arrives at Bathsheba's farm, the same Bathsheba who once turned him down, he is not arriving as a suitor, a landowner, or an equal. He is arriving as a potential employee. That's a hard scene to sit in. The man who proposed marriage a year earlier is now asking the same woman to hire him as her shepherd, and he takes the job. Everything that made the earlier proposal, his land, his savings, his standing to offer her something, is gone. What's left is the thing that got him hired on the spot. He saves her burning granary with his bare hands the same night he arrives, before anyone knows who he is. That's the film narrowing down to one variable. Not his prospects, not his pride. Just, can this man be trusted to handle what's in front of him right now? He can, and the fire proves it before a single word of introduction is exchanged. Part 5. Why most people break. Boldwood is the clearest case of what happens when the thing holding you up turns out to be someone else's decision, not your own. For years, he has been the most stable man in the district, respected, wealthy, in control. Then Bathsheba's Valentine's card gives him something to attach his stability to, and from that point on, his composure is no longer his. It belongs to whether she'll have him. When Troy takes her instead, Boldwood doesn't just get disappointed, he unravels in slow motion for the rest of the film, culminating in him shooting Troy dead at his own Christmas gathering. That is not a man reacting to bad news. That is a man whose entire internal structure was outsourced to another person's choice, watching that structure get demolished. Oak never hands that kind of control to anyone. Even in the scenes where he is clearly still in love with Bathsheba, watching her marry Troy, watching her make mistake after mistake, his ability to function the next morning was never contingent on her choosing him. He built that separately. At 6, purpose versus emotion. The clearest side-by-side comparison in the whole film is the storm sequence. Troy, Bathsheba's new husband, gets drunk at the harvest supper and falls asleep. He leaves the unprotected grain stacks exposed as a storm rolls in. It's Oak who spends the night alone in the lightning and rain, thatching the ricks by hand to save the harvest that isn't even his to lose. That single night tells you everything about the difference between two men. Troy's feelings, his need to celebrate, to be the center of the room, directly overrides his responsibilities. Oak's feelings, whatever he is carrying about Bathsheba's marriage, don't get a vote in whether the crop survives the storm. That's not the absence of emotion. Oak isn't unaffected by any of this. The film gives him plenty of quiet, wounded looks over the course of the story. It's that his emotion doesn't get to make the decisions. It reacts, it doesn't drive. Boldwood's obsession drives him to a shooting. Troy's impulsiveness drives him to abandon a harvest and earlier abandon Fanny Robin, the woman he actually should have married. Oak's grief over Bathsheba never drives him to do anything at all except keep working and stay close enough to still be useful when it counts. But 7, purpose as a resilience engine. By the end of the film, Oak has lost his flock, been rejected, watched the woman who rejected him marry someone else, buried a friend's ruined reputation and a private tragedy in Fanny Robin's death, and spent years working land that legally isn't his. None of that gets undone. The film doesn't reward him with his original farm back or erase what happened. What it shows instead is accumulation. The ship disaster taught him what it costs to lose everything at once, and that knowledge is exactly what lets him save Bathsheba's burning rig without hesitation. The years spent as a hired shepherd, patient, useful, and unclaiming are what earn him her trust long before either of them says anything about love again. Every setback becomes something he is carrying forward, not something he is still bleeding from. That's the actual mechanism, not resilience as toughness, but resilience as a habit of not wasting what happens for you. See what I did there? By the time Bathsheba finally turns to him near the end, it isn't a reward dropping on him by the plot. It's the natural outcome of being the one person in the story who never stopped being useful year after year, regardless of what he was owed. So, what's the film actually arguing? Not that good people win. Boldwood isn't a bad man, and he ends the story in ruin. Not that love is fair. Fanny Robin dies for a mistake that wasn't fully hers. Not that persistence alone gets rewarded. Plenty of persistent people in the story get nothing. What it's arguing is narrower and more useful than any of that. Identity built on what you can do outlasts identity built on what you have. Boldwood had status and lost his mind when the thing propping it up disappeared. Troy had charm and had nothing left the moment no one was watching. Bathsheba had pride and nearly lost the farm, proving she didn't need help. Oak had a trade, a dog, a pair of hands, and when everything else was stripped away, twice in this case, that was the one thing still standing. That's why when everything else is taken from him, he still knows what to do next. Not luck, not virtue, not fate, just a foundation nobody else in the story thought to build. Now, if you are still here in this story listening, you are a special one. Shout out. And please don't forget to like and subscribe and follow me, because another story, a follow-up of this and many other stories are coming. Ciao.